can see it. 500 subscribers. Thank you very much. What do we get from this relationship? Well, I don't get what I want. And I certainly know that you won't be getting from me what you want. Because I'm addressing the 99% of the hardcore child abusing lowlives which run our states and towns and cities. In the last 4 days I've done this silly live talk thing twice, and both times the police have been called for disturbances. So what happens is, we triggered fat ugly women with tight pants on go in and make complaints to the local shops, and the local shop managers call the police, and then they come out and say, why are you causing a disturbance? And the police response time is about 3 to 5 minutes. So very well done, Police Scotland, with your response time from the large businesses when they report a disturbance, but I'm sure you wouldn't respond to a small business or person in the street. But each time the police have, to give Police Scotland their due for all, I take down Police Scotland and their criminality and the way we're teaching our new police constables to consistently break the law, believing that their statutes are above the rights of man. I'm talking about innocent before proven guilty, because that will happen to any man. As soon as a woman makes any allegation, you'll not be innocent. It's very short. Thank you for 500 subscribers. I don't know why bother subscribe to this, it can finish tomorrow. Another policeman I spoke to down at Little, again, talking about the fact that we fund from these premises, we fund from here Women's Aid, and Women's Aid funds fanatical feminist child abusing women, and this is court documented. It is not my opinion. Women's Aid, a funded Scottish charity, funds women to lie about being raped and to break up families. Women's Aid, a funded Scottish charity, funds women to say these things, and so many of the wee women run about this town, part of this common purpose, and they're all part of common purpose. They make the complaints and they phone the police, and they never take responsibility because they can't face up to the fact that they're child abusing sell-out lowlives, and try to get people to understand this information so fathers can get time with their children is very difficult, because even fathers find it difficult to stick up for fathers. Fathers would rather put their head down and turn away these days, and I understand why. Because anytime you speak the truth about the funded fraternity of women bringing down this city, and that's your city, it's not just Glasgow, it's a funded fraternity of brotherhoods, and Eastern Star, they call themselves sisters. They're child abusers, they're paid off child abusers. They'll sell out their own kids, they'll sell out your kids in buildings like this, in places we call schools. The Five Eyes, you're talking Australia, New Zealand, the UK, Canada, all of these schools are corrupt now, completely corrupt. And because I speak about these things and the fact that there's a web of women funded to abuse and funded to protect abusers in the town, and you're having men coming out. A man came out and told me about how he says nothing and does nothing about his child suffering from a form of childhood cancer, and it makes me sick that any child suffers forms of these childhood cancers. I won't bother speaking about that right now. Women have been funded to break up the family values. Women have been funded to break up the family unit. Women have been funded to break down families because the Feminist is funded heavily. No father is funded. No fathers groups have ever been funded. And if you can think of a father's rights group, I've been to it and I'm part of it. I've been to the Men in London, John, The ones that used to dress up as Batman and Spider-Man and climb over the motorways. These men have helped me. They're not funded in any way. How did I pay these men off when they made me food? They gave me a roof over my head in London. They dropped me off at the airport. And this was when every one of you were accepting that poison in your vein. Every one of you were accepting poison in your vein from the liars that abuse kids. You trust the liars that abuse kids because they've got a network of feminists set up to say that you're causing a disturbance. And if the feminists can say that you're causing a disturbance, then you're to blame, not the funded feminists abusing children. There are good mothers. I see good mothers every day. I see such cute wee kids every day and mothers every day. It's so nice. It's such a nice thing to do, to stand out and talk about children's rights, because I'm talking about the children's rights and then a mother makes eye contact and her child's smiling at you. She smiles at you too. Women don't want to abuse kids, but they want a decent lifestyle. So most have sold out. That's why we fund these feminist charities. That's why we fund Women's Aid in Scotland. Because the feminist hates fathers. Most of them have never had kids. It's not mothers in there. There's women that have had children that have become mothers with men that have been alcoholics and have beat them. And this is the kind of road my ex-partner tried to take me down and to put over the top of me. And no woman should accept any drunken abuse from any man or woman or anyone. But it seems that we're funding women to be this. Drunken, feminist, family hating. I mean, just not feminine at all. Women just are not feminine. I'm missing the point. I came to talk about 500 subscribers. Woohoo, 500 subscribers. This lazy guy's standing in the middle of the main street, Barhead, Glasgow. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. And after having chicken yesterday, because I did speak to PC Day, the same surname as myself. It's the first time I've spoke to a PC Day. Not that I don't have family in the police, I do have family in the police, but I spoke to this gentleman yesterday, and from start to finish he was a gentleman, and that gave me a good vibes about Police Scotland. And the last 5 police who have spoken to me in the last 4 days, from the last 2 sets of communications I've had on this, we people go inside shops and then they make complaints. You're looked at as everything bad in this town, and that's because the common purpose of feminists that are funded, they're the ones that say who's good and bad, because they are bitter, hateful child abusers. That's what they are, bitter, hateful child abusers. So they hate the idea that any abused child or any child could take away the limelight from them. They hate the idea that anyone's going to take away the limelight. How dare I not be the centre of attention? I'm a woman. I'm the woman. I'm the feminist woman. I know there's that small percentage of mothers out here. 1, 2 people press like on this from 100 odd people. That's the lowest YouTube algorithm rates for likes and dislikes you can get in any channel. But I'm on here to say thanks for the 500. And in the last few weeks, 10,000 have been watching, 15,000 have been watching. Why bother? Why bother? You're going to come along here and you're going to join in, you're going to sit there, you're going to write comments about how this guy's an utter narcissist and doesn't do anything for his children. And you're right. You're right. Because everyone in town, my town, agrees with you. Everyone in my town agrees with the label that everything bad is this fellow here. But do you know what? Women are going to be the ones that take all the attention, because abused children don't deserve any attention. It's only the man that's the bad thing, and especially if funded feminist women who abuse children, especially if they go in and make the complaints. So thank you, PC Day, yesterday, for being a gentleman. And Gillian, that was with you as well, I know she didn't say a word, but she done what you would expect. She showed respect from start to end. and they understood that your time was wasted. But it wasn't wasted, because we got to speak to one another. We got to meet one another, shake hands, and thank you to the police the other day who dropped me off at my home when it was raining. That was nice of you and appreciated. Now, as soon as I walked in any of the shops the following day, the girls in the shop were saying, "Did you get lifted by the police? Did the police take you away?" You have to get used to this. If you're a father and your children are being abused by a woman who's funded, you have to get used to continually taking the flak from prosecutors, from police, from judges. No matter where you are in the world, you'll take it. Because you don't have that maximum law, which we're supposed to be protected by. You're not innocent until proven guilty if you're a man. If a funded feminist from a charity calls you anything, you're that. You are whatever she says. You're whatever the funded feminist says. Mothers agree with me. There's just not many of you left. Fathers get very little opportunity to be fathers. Unless it's same-sex fathers type or whatever. I don't know. Because Scotland, you can get that. You can take children off someone and give them to much better parents that fit in with the community. Walking by many people's gardens, I see the ghosts and ghouls and demons and witches. And you know, we really do celebrate the dark side of everything. As long as there's no mention of God or Jesus, God, as long as there's no mention of God, it's fine. And my own family and friends hate me even mentioning this stuff. They hate me mentioning that what you're getting here, you can't take with you. And if you're fighting to keep hold of these earthly, flesh-filled joys that you have, the instant gratification that you so want and need, to the extent you would hurt, damage and abuse your own children, self-gratification is taking away our human touch. Certainly taking away any mother's touch. That's why women hate children being in the limelight. Children don't want the limelight. They don't want it. They just want protected and they feel safe and to know their mummy and daddy loves them. All children, all of them. But from the very minute, from the very first, before a child's born, we're trying to wreck that child's life. We're trying to tear apart that family. And we do it using drugs, drink, alcohol and money. We do it by funding charities and funding feminist beasts, and I'm talking beastly women that abuse children. And this is all court documented stuff. It's just that fathers are simply the criminal. Fathers are everything wrong in society. Fathers are the ones you need to take out. If you're a man and don't have children, then you won't face this type of pain, not knowing that your children are safe. How you doing, my friend? Aye, always complaining about something, but happy this morning.
You gave me the fitness to go here watching you.
A nice man that always goes to the gym. But he still speaks to me with a smile on his face. Very few people do that. I don't like to do that. Hiya. Because many of the ladies don't like me to talk against the funded feminist charities, and I don't do it out of badness. I do it out of protection of children. I don't do this because I want to tear down women's rights groups, or I don't want women to have nowhere to turn. It's just that I want fathers to have somewhere to turn. I want children to feel safe. I want the family law movement to completely change in this country, because men are not considered fathers. Men are not considered, neither Poland, not at all in the United States. Unless you can afford to buy your children, and the cost of your child is whatever they'll steal the child off, and whatever the woman says that you're worth, that's what she'll get from you. Or that's what the courts will chase you for. And you know what? You'll just end up stepping back after years of working, your ring off, paying off mortgages, paying off lots of other you get through lots of other girlfriends to actually find someone that wants to be with you. But I was terrible at choosing things, and I've made lots of bad choices. This one was a bad choice, but maybe she was the bad choice, maybe I'm the bad choice. But it doesn't mean our children suffer. And do you know who does suffer? The children. Do you know how often? All of the time. Especially when women want to hurt their ex-partner. They are so funded to do that. They are funded by the millions of pounds to break down a father. And they break down the father by breaking their own children. Breaking your own children, women. There's very many venerable women these days have that's what they tell me, they've chosen not to have children because we're overpopulated. They'll believe any narrative given out by the predators. They'll tend to believe. You don't complain about the women coming here too often wearing the pants. It's when you're in the shops and stuff like that, or when you're shopping or through the afternoon. Let women work out. I do believe you can work out. You can wear a pair of shorts as well. But that's not up to me. You do what you like, dress as you like. Just stop taking funding to abuse family. Stop taking funding to abuse children. And we need to address what Edinburgh Women's Aid done. We need to address what Women's Aid, the funded charity, has done to break down family. We need to speak about the fact that it's court documented. Police Scotland assisted in the abduction and abuse of my children. We need to speak about that Edinburgh Women's Aid gave the story to my ex that I was a rapist and woman beater. We need to speak about these things because it's not just me that suffered over the last decade, not just my children. There's lots of you on here. And I say lots of you. Most of you, I understand, are here to try and bring me down and make me look worse than what I am. I make myself look bad enough. I am a failure. I make mistakes. There's nothing you can say about me that I don't say that's worse about me. There's nothing you can say worse. All you're going to do, you're going to go and give some intellectual opinion to try and show how smart you are, so some other common purpose friend of yours will come along and back that comment up. There's too many of you common purpose little predators on here. You've got no idea about being family men, and most of you men are just women with fake profiles. And the thing is, this is mine, and I'm not allowed to look at the comment, I'm not allowed to make a comment, and this is my profile. Because I'm not allowed to check the comments in case they're too bad, in case they're too difficult for me to take. I have to give ID to show I'm over the age of 18 in this country so I can make a comment on my YouTube channel, which is about protecting children that are abused by vicious women in the vicious Freemasonic societies and the vicious Women Aid Society and the vicious left wing and the vicious right wing. That's all part of the same makeup of your government and mine, bringing down the fabric of our family and society and what's decent. They've broken everything. The police are really the only people left with some common sense. And I'm sorry if you don't like the police. I do. The police, the last few days, with the men that I've spoken to in the police, firstly, they've been polite. They've understood how to have a conversation. And they've used common sense. I'm not saying they've used the law, but they've used common sense, and they're getting to understand the law. And just because you join the police doesn't mean you know automatically everything about the law. So I do like the security services that do want to work and make our communities better. It's just that the vast majority of you break the law on your own behalf based on the statutes written by these fools in Parliament. And the fools in Parliament are paedophiles which fund charities which rape and abuse your kids. And then you take them to these church buildings with people wearing collars which are just a funded paedophile ring which rape and abuse your kids. You take them to these secret societies and introduce them to other people in secret societies. Why do you bother doing these things? Let our children be children for a while. If you really have to join a wee club to feel like a man or think you're missing out on secrets, go ahead and do it. You're not missing out on anything. And Count Cagliostro's got a lot to say. Every one of you Dionysiacs know a lot more than I'll ever know. You're very, very common purpose laid people. There's a huge network in this town, and right now it's run by vicious women. Real vicious, brutal, child abusing women. But it's not just the fact that they're run by the vicious side. The nice side of women are actually sucked into these vicious, child abusing, funded feminist fanatics that hate children. They hate the fact that children get any type of limelight. They hate seeing children get attention. Women they hate to see it. Their own children get attention, and they abuse or abduct, assault the child. Oh no, you love your father more than me. I'm going to have to abduct and take you away to Babcha because I don't have time for you, but Babcha and Jadek has got lots of time for you. So we'll take you to Poland because this 90% Catholic cult here, they're definitely going to take you in and try the Jesuit 6 years of mind control on every child. And you need to know this is what they do. She's 6 years of mind control on my children. I've not seen or looked at or spoke to my daughter since she was 8 years old and she's 12. It's, to say I've got a broken heart not knowing how she feels is the understatement of the decade. And I would say at least half the days of this decade I've not wanted to be breathing. I've not wanted to be here. I've not wanted to be part of this. And it's men like the Police Scotland that come out and they speak to me like I'm a human, whereas the people in Asda, they bury and call you a racist and call you all type of names because that's what the common purpose wee little feminist fanatic here does. They all drive about in vans. They've all got, they look after these beautiful little kids that have got Down syndrome and are disabled or have got these so many mental issues and kids. And I don't trust the women because they're all about making money. They sell out their own children. And this isn't something where, I'm just making this up. It's court documented fact, I'm telling you, from my own life. My life has been ruined, business taken away, house taken away. But what did I go after? My children first and foremost. I put my son and daughter first at every time. I didn't put the pennies first. I didn't put the Royal Bank of Scotland coming after my home that I'd fully paid mortgage. I put nothing but my children first. And when you put your children first, as a father, you lose out. You lose out. Every time you lose out. You put your children first. No one cares about your children. No one cares about you. You will never be funded from the day you were born. If you're a man, from the day you were born, your government has not funded one charity for you and your child, or you and any child. If it's done about children's cancers. Well, this really sick child here, how did they get sick? You need to look into how we're making our children sick. It's not just the doctor, and it's not just the food, and it's not just the air they breathe. It's a lot more than that. But if you take just those three factors into account, you need to know that our children, they're perversely abused by this current society, and we are the wicked generation taking down our children. We are such a wicked and hateful generation where women are funded to abuse their own women. How can my ex ever call herself a mother? I would love her to stop it. We did try and get back together. We did, and that came through myself. And Poland was supposed to offer us a psychologist. Now this Polish old silly psychologist women, some silly wee Eastern Star Polish women that couldn't speak a word of English. Kasia basically went and said, he called me a bitch, and I was like, what are you doing, Kasia? We need this as family time to fix things. So it was after that I decided to study myself. And what do you do when you study yourself? You find that you look into psychologists and what they do, who they are, and believe me, you do a lot of study when you've got 10 years and you don't have a TV. When you can learn to pick up a book, I learned to read again. I knew the words and I knew how to look at them, but I didn't know how to read. Now I can do that. And lots of my friends have been doing that since they were teenagers, or 12 or 10 or single figures. I've not been able to. I read Garfield books in Noor Woolley. And I would love to be able to read Garfield books in Noor Woolley to my children growing up. That's something I always loved to do. Taking my kids to bed when it was bedtime after they were bathed and reading them a story. And I've not got to do that since my daughter was 8 years old. I've never really got to do it with my son since he was like 2 or 3 years old. I got to look after my kids when they were babies. And I think every man will say this, but I think I'm a great father. I'm great with children. And I love children. And I hate fathers that have got that sort of non-approach or beastly way with children. But I seen that with my ex-partner. I didn't take that warning sign that she just wasn't a lady or a woman. I seen glamour and I seen something else through this ex-partner of mine. I thought I was getting something that was glamorous, but now I know the word glamorous It must mean dirty or stinky or fake tan or sweat and makeup. That's what glamorous means these days. Sweaty women with makeup on that are looking very dirty. Or maybe it's just me that's less perverse, because as a child growing up I was perverse, and that's all you look for. Women and alcohol. I'm not asking you to stop having bad habits, because, as I said, this is a wicked and sinful generation. But even someone like myself has seen a decline on our standards. We don't have standards. When I'm letting you know as a father that my children have been abducted by a child abusing liar who called me a rapist, and that story was fed to her by a funded feminist women's charity, which still to this day, 10 years after, I could show you that on court documents, still 10 years after, I'm still being shut down on channels on YouTube where, I don't know, in the last 10 years, could I have made something of this? If I didn't bother about my children whatsoever, could I have made something? Of course I could have. I could have made money. What's that? What is that? You can't buy the time with your children back. You can't buy the life you had as with your children when they were growing up. I can't buy that. And if you're out there working as a father and you've sold that off, now they're taking out both parents from families. Children have got no one but strangers to turn to, and they call them guardians. And these guardians are all predators, all common purpose predators. Every single one of them are funded, and they would sell out any child because they're already sold out their own. If they've got children, they've sold out their own. And if they don't have children, they shouldn't be looking after children. Because we get everything so backwards in our community just now. Good morning. We get everything so backwards in our community just now. People get surprised that I can be annoyed at speaking into this, because I'm speaking to the predators right now. Right now I'm speaking to the vast majority, 99% of people here are predators. You can tell that by the likes. There's about 20 likes. I think there's been about 5,000 people on, and about 20 likes. So you look at that. It would be the worst possible percentages on YouTube, and that's never the case for anything I do. I've already had every single channel shut down over the last 10 years because people don't want fathers to speak out. So what they do, they can fund fathers if they decide to edit what they say through YouTube. If YouTube says, yeah, but if you use this language, then we'll pay you. If you use the language that we're telling you to use, then we'll give you money. I don't use that language. I use my language, and you should use your language, and stop taking pennies to sell out children. When are you going to get the message? They're trying to buy every bit of decent time that you could have in your life. They're trying to put a value on it. They're taking away our children. They've put a value on that. How much did it cost for my ex? She would have done it for 20 quid just to have a go at me. My ex would do it for anything. She would do it for the new man who's going to offer her the new life that she wants. They're looking for the upgrade. Men aren't looking for an upgrade. I've seen that with most of my life. I've seen men aren't going with women just as an upgrade unless they're these wee effeminate model men. And then the effeminate wee model men, they're just women. I don't want you to sell your experience with your children. I don't want you to sell your time with your children for £1,000 a week. For 50 grand a year, mothers sell their children off to others. And you call me the narcissist, and call me the crap dad, and call me all of this, and I'm begging for you to give me time with my children so my children can hate me the way you do, because they'll get to have to listen to this. But that won't be the case, because when I speak to the phone, that's the predator. When I speak to the person, and I know this confuses quite a lot of you, when I speak to the man and woman in the street face to face, I'm very polite. I'm very polite until you have a go. I'm very polite until you do or say the wrong thing. I'm a very polite, well-spoken, nice person. Nice. Or I tried to be. I'm wondering why most of you, if you have businesses, you're not coming and asking me to sell things for you. You must know that I've got nothing and I'm unemployed, and not just I'm unemployed, that I've got a piece of paper that you'll be sent if you employ me to tell you that I'm a criminal. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, but this guy's a criminal. Are you sure you want to employ him? We've got some special jobs. Picking up dog poo in the street with your teeth. That's how we treat the criminals that aren't criminals. But see, the real predator paedophiles, we fund them. We want them to feel safe in the community. We want the paedophiles to feel safe in our community, so we're going to house them special. And some people we give collars to and give them a full church building. Yes, it's just Catholic real estate. But lots of people still call it the church. And the church is just the people you trust that have the same faith and they know who God is. And for you, don't, it is Jesus. And I think so many times I've been saved. So many times been saved. Because I've just said to you, about half of the days over the last 10 years I've not wanted to be breathing, I've not wanted to breathe. Than I have. Right now, look at me 10 years ago and 15 years ago and 20 years ago and 25 years ago. I was loaded. And 30 years ago and 35 from the age of early teenage years. I've possibly been the wealthiest from the group of friends that I've had. And I'm not talking from my parents' wealth. And now I'm stopped to even gain basic employment. I'm stopped to open a basic business in this country. And I could do it illegally in Australia. I could go across to Colombia and get property there. I could go across there and get married and have a life there, no problem. If you're living without your son and daughter right now and you're really concerned and confused and you're worried each day that you don't know how they feel and you're worried that they don't feel safe, this is psychological manipulation, and it's taught helplessness. We're trying to give you nothing to look forward to and nothing to live for, especially as fathers. This is all by design. Everything that's going on in our communities is all by design. It's to tear apart the family. It's to tear apart anything that's decent, anything that's godly, anything that's good. They don't want decency. They don't want men coming together and speaking together and supporting one another to the extent where fathers will come out and they'll stay quiet about their children suffering. Fathers come out and they tell me how venerated they should be that they don't say about their children suffering. Do you know what? I'm the big man and I don't say about my child suffering. Why? Because it's women doing it and it's funded. And if you talk about that, you're going to get taken off the air, you're going to have your YouTube channel shut down, everyone in the town is going to blacklist you, every place in the town is going to make sure that you're not allowed to go in there. Even your own council building, you're going to get barred from. Even the Citizens Advice building, I'm barred from the Citizens Advice building. It doesn't matter if you don't have heating or hot water. The heating and hot water's for who they decide it's for. If you do as you're told, they might give you what you need to have the most basic life. And that doesn't include knowing about the safety of your children. That doesn't include knowing that your son and daughter have got peace of mind, because you don't deserve peace of mind and your children don't, because we're funding these violent women to abuse them. We're funding the violent women to abuse them. It doesn't matter that it's court documented. It doesn't matter it's court documented that Women's Aid were said to call you a rapist. That doesn't matter. You live with the fact that we called you a rapist. What, it ruins your life? It doesn't matter if it ruins your life. We called you that because we are funded by the £1 million. And we're going to do it to other men and other fathers, and they're going to lose their children and their children are going to hate them. But they're never going to know why they hate them. They're just going to hate them. Because that's what children are taught to do. Children are taught to hate their fathers. And it's the whole point of society right now. Abandonment. To separate children from their fathers. And for that small percentage of really strong, pure-minded, pure of heart, loving mothers, I'm so sorry. I know you suffer. I know this. The small handful there's a handful of mothers that still contact me, Polish mothers, and not just Polish mothers from all over the place, but they're real mothers, real women. Women that would put the child first, protect the child. The only way a child would be behind them is to protect them from oncoming traffic or oncoming bullet. That's the kind of women that still speak to me. The ones that will listen to men, but they've definitely got words to say back to them, and they can handle themselves in every way, these women. And I love women like that. They can have conversation. And at the moment, it tends to be women over the age of 70 that's talking to me. So a big love to you, Jean, a big love to you, Mary. And my name's Joseph, and Mary. We always like that small chat from the past, which is nice. So there's 200 odd people listening to us, and I'm sure there's been about 5,000 people through, and we've got 30 odd likes. So thank you, security services. You're keeping all those likes down, keeping all those narcissist comments, I'm sure, firing away in the background, because I don't get a right to reply, because anytime I got a right to reply, I tore you to pieces. I told every one of you predators a new backside, and you know I took you down, and you've got every single thing to use against me. Every single thing to use against me. I'm the worst father in history. I'm a narcissist. I'm the man that get called a rapist and women beater. Yep, that's what I am. That's what you need to face it. If you get called it by a woman in a £1 million charity, if a £1 million funded charity calls you and writes a story that you're a rapist, you need to be that. And see if you dare say it out loud and someone gets offended at you saying the words rape, they can go and make the complaint and you're the criminal. You're the criminal. And what's that, Joe? Common purpose. It's common purpose. You see how it all goes round, and it's all a big web in every single town. This town is just a replica of what your town is. You have got lots of funded beastly wee women jumping about with tight pants, and I'm talking there's 20 stone heifers in these wee tight pants, and they're angry wee fat women. Angry. And they hate children, but they always smile at children. Children can see through the smile of these beastly women. And these beastly women write stories to say fathers like myself are rapists, and they give that to willing family wreckers, and my ex is a willing family wrecker. Now, she never devised all of this on her own. She's not smart enough, but she's smart enough to use any man, abuse any man, use any kid, and abuse her own children. And I think that is one of the most demonic things any mother or father can do, and you do not deserve a title of mother or father if you've abused your children. In Poland, you're supporting the abuser. Every one of the towns with a funded feminist women's aid charity, they're supporting child abuse. They're supporting child abuse, they're supporting the destruction of family. And if you're a father, you should be stood there for your child, and you should be checking to see if there's a women's aid in your local area, because that women's aid is fanaticising any decent woman. That women's aid is fanaticising decent women. Decent women do not break up family. Decent women do not call their ex-partners. No matter how much you hate your ex-partner, you don't call him a rapist. Imagine a men's group was funded and you're going about telling men to rape women. That is a disgusting thought, and women are actually doing something similar. They're going around telling women to lie about being raped. That is disgusting. And they're doing it in buildings like this one. They'll go and rent buildings in Paisley. They're renting buildings. Now why does my business plan not give a rented business? Why is my business plan? Because my business plan could help your health. If your health is shoddy, if your health is, because I shouldn't be here, but I'm here because of my diet, and my diet is pretty much, very much restricted. Firstly by cash flow, because I have nothing. Maybe if I had the money, I would be eating square sliced sausage every day, so I did hear those Scottish sausage muncher comments, but maybe that was a homosexual jibe. The alarms are now going. I hope you're understanding what I'm telling you. Your town has a women's aid or a funded feminist charity. That funded feminist charity is trying to take your partner or your ex-partner and use everything against you. They're trying to break down the family values and the core family needs, and they're trying to take you out and abandon you from your child if you're a father. They're trying to take you out, your child's life, and abandon you from your children. They want your children to grow up and not feel loved by a father or have a parent missing, because that creates trouble in society. That creates real mental problems in society. And the common purpose understand this, and they're using that psychology against us in our own towns. They use it in every one of our shops. The police are using psychology. It's all pop psychology. It's mind control. This is pop psychology, mind control. We need to stop funding vicious women. We need to stop funding vicious feminist charities, because we would not fund any man's charity that was chauvinistic in nature. We just wouldn't fund that. But the thing is, we don't fund any loving fathers charities, so we're willing to fund the feminist, because we do fund, I'm sure, very small and nice charities that give ladies all types of clothing and beauty products. And I know you need necessity for hygiene products, so you have lots of charities for hygiene products and condoms. That's what's punted out at this time of the year. Matthew, Ava, I'm sorry I failed you as a father. If I was given the opportunity to be one, you might have seen that I love you. And I'm not a failure of a father. I'm like everyone else, and I've failed at many, many things in my life. I've failed relationships. In fact, I failed every single relationship I've been in with a woman. But that doesn't mean I'm a failure as a father. And I just wanted you to be given that opportunity. I'm sorry there's more fathers and mothers out there suffering in the same stage as what you are. And I try to make it aware that although there's such a huge percentage of fathers in this position and such a small percentage of cannon fodder, abused women, abused mothers, 100% of the people we make suffer are our children. 100% of the time are children. Now the small percentage that I was said about women, that's who we fund, the smallest percentage. That's why we fund the smallest percentage, because we can make them fanatical, we can make them abusive. And if we can make a woman abuse her own children, we know that our society is funded by the military industrial complex. That's how you control people. I hope you've taken something away from today. I certainly have. I've got 500 subscribers and I'm so super. My children will find out one day that I'm so super, that I'm just super daddy, and no matter how much you call me a narcissist or whatever, or lazy, or how many things can I think about myself that are negative and say them on some crappy YouTube algorithm? Say what you should say and speak your mind, and don't let yourself edit yourself because YouTube might pay you some pennies or Google might throw some pounds your way. If you sell out for any amount of money against the rights and safety of children, you're a predator, parasite, and I'm going to come and get you. There's a growing team of us and we're going to come and get you. Yeah, we're the smallest percentage, but we're the loudest and strongest percentage. Men and women like me are loud and strong. It doesn't matter if you have the police coming every single day. We walk and approach the police. We walk to them and approach them. Because we're doing nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with saying that these funded feminist groups need to lose their funding. There's nothing wrong with saying that women that have had children need to be helped to be mothers and not funded to be fanatical feminists. We need women funded to be good mothers and start to love their children and want to show how they can actually be with their partner, even if you're separated from your partner, how that partner can fit into your children's life, because that's the most important thing you need to be doing if you're a parent. But right now, it's the destruction of parents, it's the destruction of family, but more importantly, for the predators, it's the destruction of children. And women are funded and they're taking money. They're taking the money. They're taking that funding to break down your family. Women that you've chosen to be with, like me, I'm a foolish man, and I failed not once, not twice, but I'd continually fail, and if I had the opportunity to fail today, I would fail again. Would I get back with her? No, of course I wouldn't get back with her. Not that stupid. But it doesn't mean I wouldn't go and speak to her and be with her and be kind to her and be nice to her, even though she's done the most horrible and said the most wicked and abused her children constantly. Because the biggest thing I wanted my ex-partner to do was join my charity and say, do you know what, I put my hands up. I said in court I was funded to abuse and abduct my children, and I want to tell other women, no matter how much money you take, it's not worth abusing or abducting your children. Even if Women's Aid are going to give you the money, even if Police Scotland are going to assist in the abduction, it's not worth doing it. I wanted my ex-partner to say that. That would have fixed so many things for our children, in their minds, in their spirits, and in her own soul. And her soul right now is going to be dragged through hell. Her soul is non-existent. And she could so easily go on the side of her children and speak up for them and show love towards them just by saying and doing the right thing and apologising and speaking against the beast that funded her to lie. She's already got it all court documented. We could help so many children, we could help so many fathers and mothers in the same position. Kasha, if you were only wise enough to understand, you can actually turn around the position you've placed your children in for the last, 11, 12 years. You've been abusive and you've done this. 12 years of abuse, Kasha. That's got to break your spirit and soul. It's got to break up the thing that you've become. And you could help yourself. You could actually help save you and your mother's soul. You don't have to have a millstone round your neck for abusing children, Kasha. I'm speaking to every other woman that abuses children. You don't have to have a millstone round your neck. You can repent, you can say sorry. Doesn't mean you're not going to make a mistake and fall off the next day. It's not as if you're going to have to speak to me and show love to me and respect to me. We know we're parents, and we just need to know that we can be together and say and do the right thing. I know it's not easy. But there'll come one day, Kasha, where you need me, and you need me to be able to speak to my son and daughter to help you, because you've done so many demonic, hateful things. I know you've been funded, but you've sold our children out, and it shows what you are. It shows what you've been. If you come and speak to me on a personal level, I'm always going to speak to you nice. If you see anyone coming up to me, I'm always going to speak to them politely. Don't be confused by the little narratives that the predators try and make up on here. They don't give me a right to reply for a reason. If they stood in front of me, I'd tear strips off them. I'd be able to tear strips off them in the comments section as well. And I know there's literally hundreds of comments. Literally hundreds. Because I've got 500 subscribers. Ooh, me, I've got 500 subscribers. Stop pressing like. If you've subscribed, unsubscribe today, you foolish little freaks. I know 99% of you are out here just to beast children and break family. But you're going to come across me, and you're going to come across him just there, the very same as me. He's got the same idea as me. That mother, she's got the same idea. Go ask Magda. Ask Magda. She's as strong as any woman I know. She's fought cancer. Stage 4 cancer. Boom! Didn't have to use what they were offering. She didn't use what they were offering. Strong Polish women stand up for family because they can see what's been funded. And I'm sure most of you women can see what's been funded. It's just that you find it difficult to step out with what all your wee fanatical friends are saying. I know it's difficult to step away from the big group. I know it's difficult to be the black sheep in your society. I understand. I'm that. Very surprised the police have not come along, but 47 minutes. Normally 45 minutes the police is here. But today, not so much. Maybe they're too busy listening online. I did give them details of this. And I'm inviting the security services along as well. And in the last few weeks I've seen my cousin go up the street, and my cousin will stop for me and he'll be a gentleman to me, and he still speaks to me. My own family, and he is my family, my cousin, but my own direct family, brothers, wouldn't stop for me in the street. Many of you call me brother. Love you. I miss you. I appreciate you giving me your time today. I know that it's there's no great narrative on this channel other than moaning about wanting to see my kids and want you to get time with your family. And I want family to be invested in. I want our Police Scotland to be invested in. And so because they can see through what's going on right now. Many of the men and women can see what's going on. They can see through it. They can see that this is not the disturbance. The disturbance is the funded fanatics. They can see this isn't the disturbance is that. And I know on here that I'm going to have a whole lot of Polish haters, Catholic haters, Freemasonic haters, Jesuit haters, and especially the Eastern Star and the fanatical feminist haters. I see you. I'm barred from all your places, so don't worry. You don't have to look at me or listen to me. I swear to God I do. I care for you. I would do what I could to help you. If you need help, you can come, and I'll do what I can to help you. back to just your normal life. Enjoy your Monday. Goodbye.